Welcome back to Emirates Sports and Reviews. We are going to go through all the scores that happened on the weekend, and we're going to talk about certain situations that happened that a lot of people are pissed off about, but we'll go through that later on. We're going to go through with Division 1 first. We're going to talk about the teams that are in the potential in the running for the playoffs and who they could be facing later on down the line. Going through it. So we're going to start off with Division 1 as usual, and it's going to be nice and simple. So we had two games in the Division 1 North, and we had Northumberland Vikings versus Lancashire Wolverines, and we had East Kilbride versus Yorkshire Rams. Now, as usual, most people expected these victories, so we saw that the Northumberland Vikings beat the Lancaster Wolverines 34-8. And we also saw East Kilbride beat the Yorkshire Rams 19-0. Now, with that in the playoffs, with that and their playoff run, we know that East Kilbride will be the number 1 seed, despite any losses on the weekend upcoming. And the Northumberland Vikings are also there at the number 2 seed. Now, maybe the Yorkshire Rams could get there, but that would require Northumberland Vikings to lose their last game of the season, so we will obviously wait and see. But at the moment, East Kilbride are number 1 and Northumberland Vikings are number 2. Now we're moving on to Division 1 South. We had 3 games being played. We had the Chester Romans versus the Birmingham Bulls. We had the Leicester Falcons versus the Showfire Revolution. We had the Nottingham Caesars versus the Houghton Spartans. Now in this Division 1 South, we had all the home teams gain a victory, and all the away teams had a got shut out. Chester Romans won 12-0. We had, Chester Romans beat the Birmingham Bulls 12-0. We had the Leicester Falcons beating the Showfire Revolutions 49-0, and we had the Nottingham Caesars beating. Oh wait, no, I was wrong. Sorry. The Nottingham Caesars beat the Houghton Spartans 30-6. My bad. Sorry guys. Sorry, I got that one wrong. But with that, in Division 1 South, we have the Leicester Falcons as the number 1 seed so far, and we have the Nottingham Caesars, who are the number 2 seed. Again, same situation as the Yorkshire Rams. The Chester Romans could potentially make the playoffs, depending on what happens with the Nottingham Caesars in their last game of the season, and if the Chester Romans win and the Nottingham Caesars lose their next game. It's all up for grabs at the moment, but we do have our number 1 seed Falcons, and the number 2 seeds are the Nottingham Caesars. Now in Division 1 West, we had again 3 more games being played, and this time the away teams did get shut out. We had the Bournemouth Bobcats playing the Oxford Saints, Hertfordshire Cheetahs playing the Portsmouth Dreadnoughts, and the Rushmore Knights play the South Wales Warriors. Right, for the scores now. So we had Bournemouth Bobcats beating the Oxford Saints 14-0. We had the Hertfordshire Cheetahs beating the Portsmouth Dreadnoughts 19-0. And we had the Rushmore Knights beating South Wales Warriors 33-0. A lot of zeros there. A lot of zeros. But within that division, we have the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, who are the number 1 seed at 8-1, and we had the Rushmore Knights, who are the number 2 seed. Again, Bournemouth Bobcats could potentially steal the 2nd seed, but that would require Rushmore Knights losing on the last week of the season, and Bournemouth Bobcats winning that game. Now we're moving on to Division 1 East. Right, now in Division 1 East, we had 2 games in this division this week. We had Essex Spartans versus London Hornets, and we had the Wembley Stallions versus the number 1 seed Cambridgeshire Cats. And let's say that these games were very interesting. So we had the Essex Spartans losing to the London Hornets 12-2, which keeps the Hornets in contention of the playoffs. And we had the Wembley Stallions beating the Cambridge Cats 21-15. Now, the reason why that's very, very interesting is that Cambridge Cats are 7-2, London Hornets are 7-2. But luckily for the Cambridge Cats, they beat the London Hornets by a significantly more points, so they keep that number 1 seed, and the London Hornets stay at number 2. But London Hornets play Wembley Stallions next, and that is a win and you're in type of situation. So whoever wins that game will take the number 2 seed in the East Division. Now we talk about the playoffs. As I did mention before, we do have the Division 1 playoffs are as so. You have the quarterfinals, then you have the semi-finals, and then of course you have the finals. So in the quarterfinals, it will potentially be East Kilbride Pirates playing Nottingham Caesars in the quarterfinals, and it will be at home to East Kilbride, and we'll have the Leicester Falcons playing the Northumberland Vikings in the quarterfinals as well. Now on the other side of the board, we do have the Herts Cheetahs would be at home to either the London Hornets or Wembley Stallions, and then we'll have the Cambridge Cats playing the Rushmore Knights. So those are what the playoffs used to be. Unless Bafa have changed it, that's what the playoff games should be. It should be the North versus South, and then the West versus the East, and then whoever wins those games will play each other in the semi-finals. And then the winner of those semi-finals will be promoted to the Premiership of their respective conferences. So whoever wins the North and South will go to the North Premiership North, and whoever wins the East and West playoff semi-finals will go into the Premiership South for the next season. And then obviously whoever wins that will be meeting the finals on the 3rd or the 4th of September. Need to double check those numbers, but that's what the playoffs will look like. So that's that, and we will be talking about the Premiership in the next video, and obviously the outcomes of the games that weekend. So guys, thank you all for jumping in. Let me know in the comments on who you think will be making into playoffs, who will get the victories, and have you been enjoying this season? So I hope you all stay great. I hope you all stay blessed, because I'm M Rich, and I'm out.